Welcome back to Switch of South Africa. I'm Nicky Nash as always, and today I am in something of a budget. I'm in a budget car. It's been a while since we tested something of a budget car, so this week I am currently testing the Hyundai Grand i10. And there's a few things to cover, and I'm going to cover all of that in this review. So I'm going to speak about the exterior of the vehicle, the interior of the vehicle, and the drive, and finally, cost of ownership. Going into the look of the vehicle first, exterior look of the vehicle, then we'll jump into the interior. On the exterior side of things, I personally don't like the look of the vehicle all angles, whether it's from the front to the back and the side profile, this being the sedan. I prefer the hatch. So the look of this vehicle in front, I'm not a fan of it. I just feel like it doesn't look good, and the placement of the LED daytime running lights for me is just a weird part in a weird way they've put it there. Moving on to the back, the lights as well at the back is weird. It's more like they're facing down. A colleague of mine, Greg Dennis Reviews, he had those cars in test, and he actually edited the picture and flipped the lights and they faced up and they look much better. So check him out. He did it on TikTok if I'm not mistaken. So check it out. So I'm not a fan of the car on that type of design. Side profile of the vehicle, for what this vehicle is, it's okay. We understand it's a sedan. I'm not a fan of this specific sedan and how small it is. I prefer the hatch. So the Grand i10 hatch, the front still looks the same. I don't like it. But moving on to the back, it looks much better. And I personally would buy the hatch over the sedan. But there's people that would buy the sedan because of what they need. They need a bigger boot. They're going to be using it for Uber and all that stuff. And this is the perfect vehicle for that. Then jumping into the interior of the vehicle, this is where I like the car. So this is where the car shines, if you know what I mean. So when you get into the car, if I close your eyes and I put you in this vehicle, you immediately think you're in something small and sporty because of the design and the elements they've put in the vehicle. So there's these red accents all around the vehicle. So you get red accents obviously on the analog dial there. You get the digital the red accents there, and then by the aircon fence you get red surroundings. It's nice. And the seats as well. The seats look good and they do feel good. They get the job done. They have red stitching and all of that. Also on the steering wheel you get this red lovely stitching. So there's a lot of red inside the interior of the vehicle, and you feel like in something very sporty, which is okay, which is something I like. Hyundai has gone through the way of showing you that this is something cool. They're trying to make it, appealing to the market. And for me personally, the interior, they nailed it. And then you get, obviously, being a budget car, interior finish won't be the best. So you won't get the soft leather and all of that. You get a lot of plastic around the car. As I'm knocking all over here, you get that plastic feeling all over. But I can't knock it because of the price of the vehicle. We'll speak about that later. But what I do like as well, that Hyundai wasn't lazy by just making the whole interior black, or that dark gray. They've actually went with contrasting. So there's this nice cream touch here and there, that it makes the car look appealing interior. And they didn't do it in front. They did it at the back as well. The doors at the back. And talking about the back, the seating space at the back is quite good in this vehicle. Something I didn't expect. You get decent amount of leg room. Headroom is decent for someone my size. As tall as I am, I'm 1.73 meters tall. It's decent. I can't complain. I have enough leg room. I have enough headroom, and I would sit here at the back on a long distance drive. Speaking of a long distance drive, in this specific one, I'm speaking about the one I'm in, not the hatch, right? In a long distance drive, obviously long distance means you're doing traveling, means you'll have luggage and all of that. So you guys are honestly wondering, how is the boot capacity? And honestly, the boot capacity is something of wonders. You would not expect it. It's so big. For the size of this vehicle, when you look at it from the outside, the boot capacity is big, and it's something that I do like about the car. You can fit in 2 suitcases and a few more bags here and there, depending on how you put them. And for me, that's more than enough. It gets the job done. Looking at the size of the vehicle, when you look on the outside, you wouldn't think that this car can house so much in terms of the boot capacity. Now moving on to the drive of the vehicle. So this car is powered by a 1.2 liter naturally aspirated engine, which produces 61 kilowatts and 114 newton meters of torque. And how is that? Gear 1 foot, that's 50, there we go, and that's 60. So for a car like this, you're not necessarily looking for that punch or that power. You want a car that's going to get you from point A to point B. And at the same time, for what this car is, I personally have never felt, okay, I need more power out of this car. The power is decent enough. The power is okay. Obviously, on inclines, you will feel that, you want that more power. You wish it had a turbo. You wish it had more kilowatts. But for what I'm doing right now, day-to-day driving in residential areas, and the people that are going to be buying those cars, it's more like a student car, your first car, the type of people that are going to be buying those cars, even Uber drivers, this car is enough. You will not need more power. You do not need more power. This car is more than enough for you. And this car has a 5-speed manual. So in terms of the gearbox, it's smooth. I enjoy the drive of the vehicle. I enjoy driving it, and it's for me because I hardly drive manual cars from time to time, because the majority of test cars nowadays are literally automatic. So I'm sure I've had less than 5 manual test cars this year. So when you look at that, I actually do enjoy driving this vehicle because it's a nice small car and it gets the job done. The only disadvantage with regards to the gearbox that I have encountered is the reverse gear. So the reverse gear sometimes doesn't fully engage, and because as a newcomer to the car, when it's not fully engaged, you think it's fully engaged, you let off, it makes that sounding noise where the gear is not engaged, and you have to pop it out of reverse and then put it back again in reverse. So it's just those small things that I personally don't like with cars. That's the disadvantage because of the gearbox. But other than that, the car's more than enough, more than it gets the job done. Can't complain too much. Now moving on to what you get in terms of cost of ownership. So there is 8 models, right? So from the increase of the pre-facelift was only 6 because it was just only hatch. Now there's 2 editions of the sedan, being the sedan manual and the one that I'm in, and the sedan automatic. So that makes it 2 extra models, making it 8 models. So the starting price of the Grand i10 starts from 229,000 rand, and it goes all the way up to 309,000 rand. So whether it's expensive or not expensive, that's up to you and up to your budget. I personally, I'm not mad at the pricing. Looking at how cars are priced nowadays, I'm not mad at the pricing. The one I'm currently in, and the one that you guys are currently seeing on the overplay videos, is priced at 279,000 rand, so 280,000 rand. And if you take that and you finance that at an interest rate of 12.25% over a period of 60 months, which is 5 years, with no deposit, you're looking at paying 6,200 rand. And that is a lot of money when you look at it like that. But for what the car is, it is what it is. You can't complain too much. So obviously, if you factor fuel into that, you're just basically paying 7,000 rand. That's before insurance. Factor insurance, that will depend on the type of person in your profile. So now that important question, whether do I like the car, would I buy the car, would I recommend the car? One, do I like the car? Yes, I really do like the car. I'm just not a fan of the look of the vehicle, but the drive and everything, I do. 2, would I buy the vehicle? If I was in the market for such a vehicle, I would consider it. It's not necessarily buy it, I would consider it because there's other offerings around. Would I recommend the car? 100%. I'll tell you, here's the Grand i10. It's a good car. Have a look at it, but obviously look at the competition. So in terms of the hatch, you could compete with the likes of the Kia Picanto, what am I missing? Kia Picanto, the Suzuki Swift. In terms of the pricing as well, the new Swift should be coming out to South Africa in 2024. So it gets the job done. For what the car is, more than enough. But I've said a mouthful, and I personally think that's enough for this review. If you do wanna, one thing actually I haven't said is regards to the warranty and all that. So you get a 5-year 150,000 vehicle warranty, and then you get a 7-year 200,000 powertrain warranty, meaning if the engine decides to go kaboom, they're gonna cover as long as it's within that 7 years and the 200,000 kilometers. The thing that I don't like is that Hyundai only covers for your first service. So this car comes standard with 1 year 15,000 service plan. That's it. After that, you have to manage your own service plan. Obviously, you'll have to extend it, and that will factor it into your monthly premium. I personally don't like that. Hyundai could have just done something about that. But other than that, I'm Nicky Nash from Just South Africa. I hope you guys like the content. I'll see you on the next review. Switch South Africa, in part association with Change Cars. Change Cars is a trusted online website because they work with trusted dealers and the best insurer in South Africa, Discovery Insure.